Hello and welcome back to White Lines Football. Lewis again here today, back for the next episode of the White Lines Football podcast. Now today, joined by Nathan from League One Podcast. How you doing, Nathan?
Hello. Thanks for having me on again.
No worries. Thanks for coming on. And we're also joined by Billy for the first time. How you doing, Billy?
I'm fine, thank you.
Good to hear. So today, obviously, a big weekend of football ahead, but in the last couple of weeks of football, especially in the last week, a few questions have been raised. One question that's been raised, obviously, Tottenham were defeated by Jose Mourinho's Manchester United at the weekend, 1-0. They failed to score the goal that they needed to get anything out of the game. So, obviously, a typical Mourinho performance. Billy, a typical Mourinho performance, and he shut up shop and got the goal when he could. The main talking point for that was that Harry Kane was injured and Spurs didn't manage to get the goal. Now, some managers in particular have branded Spurs a Harry Kane team. Do you think the game from the weekend supports that?
I'm not sure. Like, on paper, Tottenham have a really good side, like a side that should be competing for the league. Like Dele Alli, for example. Obviously, the team around him helps. I don't know, I think managers have been, or other teams have been quite harsh on Tottenham for saying that statement.
Do you think part of the problem that you're suggesting might be the fact that Tottenham don't really have another great striker? I mean, obviously Son was used at the weekend, which could have been down to sort of Man United, because obviously Son, different style of striker to Harry Kane, but it could have been tactical. But obviously they tried out Janssen last year. They even tried playing Kane and Janssen together at points. That didn't work. And Janssen's obviously been moved on in the summer out on loan. They brought in Fernando Llorente. They still didn't go with him. Do you think that's a big problem for Tottenham, that they don't actually have another striker? Because even when Kane's injured, Pochettino doesn't go to his next striker. He plays someone almost out of position. Yeah,
that is a big problem, because a couple of eyebrows were raised when they brought in Llorente. Like, why? He's not going to play. But people were then saying, oh yeah, he'll play if Harry Kane gets injured. On the weekend he got injured and he still didn't play, so I don't really know what he's there for.
Yeah, I know Chelsea are after him, and Conte, obviously, Llorente's played under Conte before Juventus, but maybe it was partly to make sure Chelsea didn't get him, but then if they didn't rate him that highly, then because they're not playing him, why would they worry about that? But Llorente is similar sort of striker to Kane rather than Son. Obviously, you've got the hold up play and the main figure sort of thing. And I thought he would play, but obviously that's not working out. So Nathan, do you think it's a problem yourself?
You see, it's an interesting one, because a lot of people are looking at Harry Kane's record for Tottenham this season, 8 goals in 9 games, and they're saying that he has absolutely changed their season. Obviously, he's a good striker, but if you actually look at his goals, he's got 4 sets of 2 goals. So it's not like he's scored 8 goals in 8 games, and they've all 1 goal has been in each game. They've almost been in sets, and if you take Harry Kane's goals and assists away, Tottenham have 4 less points, which for 8 goals, 4 points is a bit. Obviously, it's big, especially at the start of the season, because that will grow as the season goes on. But with 8 goals, you'd probably expect maybe 5 or 6 points. So I think maybe, yes, he is their most important player, but I don't feel like it's pivotal to. I don't feel like he is as important as people are making out.
So do you think Pochettino himself has gone wrong at the weekend in playing Son? Do you think it's just sort of a one-off thing, because Harry Kane could have been on the pitch and Spurs could have still not scored against Man United? So do you think maybe that was just that sort of thing? Maybe was it Pochettino's reluctance to play Llorente, and if he did play Llorente, a natural striker, then the story would have been different, and then we wouldn't be having this conversation right now?
Well, look at Llorente's record. He's played 5 games and has scored no goals in the league. So if you're not scoring goals, you're not going to play a striker who isn't scoring goals. At least Son has actually scored a goal in his 9 appearances. So whether he is rotating between these other strikers to try and find a backup striker who could play when Kane is injured or suspended. Who knows? But I don't know. I do kind of feel like he's trying to find a second striker almost to support Kane, like I said, when he's injured or suspended.
Yeah, I've heard a few Tottenham fans that have sort of suggested that they'd rather have Son in there than Llorente, and I sort of question Tottenham's recruitment in that way, because, I mean, Billy, watching Tottenham, obviously last season I had Janssen, who really, really struggled. He didn't get many minutes. And then now Llorente as well seems to be the third choice striker, even when he probably is the only second striker at the club. Where do you think Spurs go? Like, what do you prefer to see, Son or Llorente, or do you think they just need to get someone decent in, maybe?
Well, I think Llorente should be playing, because if you, like, I don't know about you guys, but I don't like players who are or still at the club just for sitting on the bench or like just collecting the wages, really. And I thought Llorente was decent at Swansea. I think he should have probably stayed, but yeah, I didn't think Son playing up front was not the option. No way.
Yeah, well, obviously, Man United managed to shut out Tottenham last year. Spurs went on a little run when Harry Kane was injured, and that was 6 games without a victory, and 3 of those they had no goal. Now I know Janssen was involved then, but obviously he didn't cut it and he's gone out on loan now. But to me that suggests there's probably still a problem. But then other stats are sort of suggesting that that 64%. They have a 64%. Tottenham, that is, have a 64% win ratio with Harry Kane in the team, 58% without. So that's not too much of a difference, because obviously you take out the best player, you'd probably sort of suggest that is a problem.
I've got a question for you, Lewis. Do you feel like Harry Kane has almost been too good for Tottenham in regards that when he isn't playing, whether through injury or suspension, that say Son coming in or Llorente coming in, because they're obviously not on his level, that maybe they feel pressure that they need to be as good as him, whether that be through manager, the other players or the fans, the media, whatever. Do you feel like that is a possibility?
It's probably a possibility, yeah, because if you look at Liverpool, for example, when they take Mane out, arguably their best player, they struggle, and it's obviously natural to see that. And when you got Real Madrid, you take Ronaldo out, Messi out of Argentina or Barcelona, you see that as well. But I feel like you've always got to have a replacement. So if you look at Liverpool, they shift their team around. So maybe like Mane will play playing on the left, maybe they'll play Oxlade-Chamberlain out there, maybe they'll play Coutinho out there, bring in another midfielder to play deeper. You look at Real Madrid, I know they've got an insane squad, so they're probably not relevant, and same as Barcelona actually. But I think you've always got to have a replacement, and I feel like at Tottenham, like last year when they went 3 games without a goal in a 6-game winless run without Kane, I think it's a bit significant, because they don't have that man they could bring in. They don't, obviously, Pochettino didn't trust Janssen last year. He didn't trust Llorente this year either, and he's obviously tried to bring Son in, and they're not going to be as good as Kane, because in my opinion he's the best striker in the league. But if you're looking at it in terms of success, that like I say with that stat, it's not come off. So maybe there is a bit of pressure to perform, because Tottenham are a good side and they do rely heavily on Kane. 8 of their 19 goals this year. But I feel like they do have other players like Dele Alli, they have other players like Christian Eriksen, they have players that should come in. But the stats show that, in a way, Tottenham haven't been successful because of the little drought they've gone on, and obviously they didn't score at the weekend again. So I feel like there is a bit of pressure. Billy, do you agree, or are you sort of a different opinion?
Like I said, Tottenham should be competing for the Premier League, whether they've got Kane or not. Obviously, yeah, Kane is brilliant, and because he's obviously so good and he's proven that, then everyone's going to think that, well, it's just the Harry Kane team, when you've got like the Eriksen, Ali, Dembele all on the pitch.
Nathan, you said you had another question.
Yeah. Do you feel like that, again, it's kind of similar to the last one, that because Harry Kane is so important, that he gets played every single game, pretty much, depending on whether he's injured or stuff like that. A Levente or a Son doesn't have a 5 or 6 game run, not little games here and there, a 5 or 6 game run to say, right, I'm going to try and push on in the team and try and get a bit of form going, so that when they do come back in later in the season, that they have that kind of confidence knowing I've scored 5 this season in, let's say, 15 games or something like that, in some kind of run, that they can be important when Kane isn't there. Because if they've played 5 games and they're all spread out and they've scored 2 goals, that's not really going to give them a lot of confidence when they're playing like just 1 game, when Kane isn't there. Do you feel like that could be another problem as to why the Harry Kane's boots are hard to fill when he isn't there?
I think the stat you said earlier about Llorente not scoring this season is sort of redundant because of the amount of game time he gets, because it's not much, and obviously he's not starting much either. And I think Llorente would have gone to Tottenham after seeing Janssen last season, after seeing the system Tottenham play, whether it's the 3 at the back or the 4 at the back, they almost always play with 1 up front. And Llorente definitely would have gone there knowing that he wasn't going to be the first choice striker. So I think it's all psychological for Llorente, because I think not so much for Son, because he's playing in his normal position out wide quite a bit for Tottenham, but for Llorente I think it's psychological, because he's either going to be there knowing he's got to grab his opportunity whenever he gets it, which he hasn't done yet. Admittedly, he's not had much time, so it is quite hard, however good you are. Obviously, Llorente's not exactly a world beater, so he's going to know that. But also, he could be getting frustrated because he's not. There could have been something said that he's going to get so much game time that he hasn't got, maybe. And now he's not getting him, and Kane's out of the team either. And obviously, Kane. I'm not sure the lineups haven't come out yet, but Tottenham are playing Madrid tonight. We're recording this on a Wednesday, and he's actually on my TV right now. I don't know what they're saying because he's on mute, but he could be in the squad tonight for all we know. And Llorente's got another few games on the bench, so he could be annoyed. That could be psychological for him, but again, at the same time, he could have come to Tottenham knowing that. But do you think, Nathan, that I know Kane's really important, but the likes of Ali and Eriksen are both really important for Tottenham as well. Do you think if you took out a Christian Eriksen, Tottenham would struggle as much as they are without Kane, because he's their key creator?
Yeah, that is another big question, because the centre forward scores goals, but then Christian Eriksen creates the actual chances for Kane, for whoever's up top. But they're both as important as each other, because they need each other. They can't do the job without the other. So to have that, you've got to have 2 players who are of the same quality in that position. In them positions, obviously 2 different positions. And then again, I think if you were to sell Kane, hypothetical, obviously, like, you've got to bring someone in who is of the same quality, or similar quality, because Eriksen will be used to playing with Kane, putting so many passes in, so many crosses, whatever, to Kane. And if you've got a worse striker there, then that's going to annoy Eriksen, that maybe a ball he made to whoever this new striker is, hypothetically, Kane would have scored it, but this new guy hasn't, and that'd be frustrating for the midfielder. For Eriksen, and it'd be frustrating for the new striker. So I think both just as important as each other, and they are key, obviously. Attacking players are probably the most important players in a team. But yeah, I think it's hard to say that one is more important than the other. It's just that goals are viewed as more important, the more prominent in stats and stuff than assists or passes out of anything like that.
Yeah, so going by that theory, are you saying Spurs aren't a one-man team?
No, I'd say they are. I'd say that Ali, Eriksen and Kane, they are the important ones. I'd say they're the ones who carry the team. Yeah.
And then you've obviously got the defenders as well, the likes of Odegaard, a great defender. So, Billy, do you think Spurs are a one-man team?
No, I really don't. Like, look at their goalkeeper, for example, Hugo Lloris. Like, some of the saves he makes are absolutely quality, and like as you said, the defence, like Vertonghen and Alderweireld, very good as well. I think they've got it all over the pitch. I just think, as Harry Kane has proven that he should be one of the world's best, I think everyone's sort of gone, right, he's injured, let's see how you can play without him. But no, I don't think Tottenham are a one-man team.
Yeah, I think we're going to see in the future which route Pochettino goes down. It seems he's failed a couple of times. We'll see if he gives Llorente or whoever's a striker at the time a good run in the team, because I'm sure Kane will get injured / suspended at some point in his career again. But I think it's interesting because obviously Kane is really, really big for Tottenham. The stats are sort of up and down, but I don't think they're a one-man team, but I think Kane's probably more important to them than other players, because he's the man that gets the goals at the end of the day. Goals in football matches. Yeah. So I'm going to move on now to talk a little bit about Chelsea, because we're filming it on a Wednesday, and last night Chelsea got thumped by Roma in the Champions League. They were lucky to get the result at Stamford Bridge last time out, winning 4-3, I believe it was. Coming back a little bit, and obviously there's been talk this season after Chelsea's poor start, and every time they lose, so they lost to Burnley, they lost to Palace, who hadn't scored a goal in the Premier League, let alone won one, and then obviously now, long story short, Nathan, are Chelsea in a crisis?
Yeah, I'd say, because of I don't think it was Conte's decision to get rid of Matic, to sell him to United, and he's a key player, who was a key player in that team, and to sell him, sell him to anyone, but to sell him to a title rival, it was stupid. And looking at it, they haven't got someone in of the same quality. And yeah, Danny Drinkwater, he's good, but it was in that Leicester team where a lot of players probably punched above their weight, because Drinkwater was one of the best ones, but in that Leicester side. But I don't think he's at that quality of what Matic was, and I think it is. It's kind of a pattern we've been seeing over the past couple of years, that teams win the title and have a bad season. Chelsea, obviously, with Mourinho, then Leicester with Ranieri, and it's a kind of a pattern that has been happening quite a lot recently. And I'd say that crisis, I don't know, but I think it's not just on the pitch. I think maybe a bit of management at the top, regards to Abramovich, maybe selling players that Conte didn't want to get rid of. I think that could be an annoying thing for Conte, when he's losing players who he wants to keep, and maybe not being able to buy players who he wants. He wanted to get Oxlade-Chamberlain. Now, whether you think he'd be a good signing for them or not, you don't know, but he rejected them. That would be annoying for him, because he hasn't got him. So, a crisis, I don't know, but definitely things aren't going their way.
Yeah, I think the Matic thing is really, really significant, because he was such a key part, him and Kante in the midfield last season in their title win, and suddenly he's just gone like that and replaced by Danny Drinkwater. Like you say, he was one of Leicester's better players, but to be replaced by Danny Drinkwater when you're Nemanja Matic is pretty extreme, because he's not only left a big hole in Chelsea's midfield that they've struggled to find the balance in despite the incomings. He's really, really helped out Manchester United, and obviously they're now 4 points ahead of Chelsea. Chelsea's still in the top four, but top four when you're at Chelsea, with the money they have, with the history they have, you don't really want to be competing for top four. You want to be competing for titles, and they're already 9 points off Man City, which is a long way to make up. Obviously, Conte had a bit of a situation in summer. Billy, we know. Excuse me. We know Abramovich likes to move on managers pretty quick. Obviously, the likes of Di Matteo after winning the Champions League, Ancelotti, etc., etc. There was a bit of controversy about Conte leaving in the summer. Maybe he wasn't happy with the board. You can't blame him with the Matic situation. Rumours of him going to Inter Milan, going back to Italy, his family are homesick, etc. Do you think Abramovich should have the balls to sack Conte, or do you think Conte would walk, or do you think... Because it does seem like a little bit of something waiting to happen, if you know what I mean.
I don't think Conte will walk. Like, I can't remember exactly the game, but when Chelsea were... Watford at home, when Batshuayi scored, the emotion that Conte shows, instead of the dance like Alan Pardew done in the League Cup, that's just almost fake, if you get what I mean.
Yeah.
And then Conte is diving into the fans because he really wants it. I honestly, I don't think he's that type of manager to walk, but I don't know if Abramovich would get rid of him after the league. Like you've mentioned, the Roberto Di Matteo, the fact that he sacked him after winning the Champions League. I think Di Matteo was a caretaker manager, right? Because I can't remember.
I think it was for the. I think it was caretaker, but it was till end of the season or something. Did he? It was caretaker, but he signed a middle term contract. I think till the end of the next season, was it?
Yeah, it was. I think it was permanent in the end.
Yeah, I think it was permanent, but short term permanent.
Yeah.
Right, yeah. So, yeah, that's just kind of a weird one if you think of it. But yeah, I just don't think he'll sack him. I'm not sure.
Yeah, I think, especially if you look at the managers out there at the minute, there's not many options that you would probably take over Conte at this minute. But Chelsea's sort of downfall, do you think, staying with you, Billy, do you think that is Conte's fault, or do you think it's literally the people above him? Because I think if you're looking at Chelsea's problems, last season their defence was such a strong point. You had David Luiz in the middle, Azpilicueta one side, Gary Cahill one side. This year you've got David Luiz in defence, in midfield you've got Cahill in and out of the team, Rudiger in and out of the team, Christensen in and out. Azpilicueta's playing wing back one week, he's playing centre back the next week. Do you think it's Conte's problem, or do you think it's a bit higher up?
Well, I don't think it's Conte's problem. As last year, Matic played the whole season maybe.
Yeah.
And obviously, if they fell out, then Conte wouldn't play him or wouldn't play him as much. I think it was almost a way to get money. Yeah. Obviously, they brought in Bakayoko, obviously Drinkwater, but is Drinkwater Matic standard?
No.
I don't think so. But yeah, 100% it's people above him.
Yeah, I think it's definitely that, because I think Conte's tried to change the system a little bit. He's gone more for a 3-5-2 rather than a 3-4-3.
A question for you.
Uh-huh.
Do you think that there is a sacking culture installed in Premier League winners? Cause I've got a little stat for you here. In 2013-14, City won the league with Pellegrini. Now, it wasn't sacked the season after, but he got replaced the season after.
Basically,
but it was until the end of the following season. 2014-15, Chelsea won the league. Mourinho got sacked the next season. 15-16, Leicester won it. Ranieri obviously got sacked again, and then 16-17, Chelsea again won the league, and there's calls for Conte to be sacked by some fans. Do you think now that there is almost installed that there is a sacking culture amongst the bosses, some of the bitter, not the bosses, the chairman, the owners of these big Premier League clubs?
I think your stat suggests that there is, but I don't know if that's because of how hard it is to win the Premier League, but that's probably just literally coming this season, because if you look at when Leicester won it, literally all the teams are down and Leicester just walks through. But yeah, I think it's probably because they want to keep up the standards. So obviously when Chelsea fell, Leicester fell, Man City weren't great again. They're not reaching the standards of the previous season where they've won the league, and maybe the owner's a bit naive to think, oh, well, we're not going to win the league this season, we'll move on here. Maybe they haven't planned through what they're going to do, because obviously Leicester sacked Ranieri and put in Shakespeare, which was such a downslide, it was unreal. I think maybe there's naivety from owners because you have some dodgy owners, but if you're the owner of a Premier League club, most of the time you're going to know what you're doing. Maybe not in Newcastle's case, maybe a few more, but you're going to know what you're doing. But it'd be nice to see a little bit of loyalty, sort of saying, okay, we come second this year, we're going to rebuild on for next year. But I think, especially now, with the quality of managers in the Premier League, so you look at the Premier League top four, you've got Man City, Guardiola, Man United, Mourinho, Tottenham, Pochettino, Conte, Chelsea, even Liverpool, Klopp in sixth. But maybe the top four there, arguably, in a way, four of the best, if not the best four managers in the world. And say Man City come second this season, and I mean, they'd be stupid to sack Guardiola, but they're going to look at that and think, well, why have we not won the league? And their immediate reaction is going to be the person controlling the team, because we've spent all this money, he's done what he wanted with it, and it's his fault that he hasn't done it. So maybe that's just the pattern of the way they do it.
So like Liverpool, say for example, so if they're in the top four or maybe like third or second, like people wouldn't be wanting Klopp out, but whereas Chelsea are in the top four, they're sort of thinking, well, we should be winning the league, and like, why is Conte not gone yet?
I think it is because of the standards though, because like Chelsea won the league last year, now they're fourth. Liverpool came fourth last year, so maybe fourth and a good one in the Champions League, that's a bit of progress for them. But for Chelsea, if they won it last year, if they come third this year, that's probably seen as a failure. Which is quite sad to see, because Chelsea were in my bet last year. They won me some money, and they're the boys. But yeah, Chelsea, every now and again they're losing. Top four, Nathan, say Chelsea finish fourth and they get out their group of the Champions League. Is that a success?
Well, I was just going to speak about something similar to that, about what is the Premier League nowadays, because you can't deny that it is so more competitive than it was 10 years ago, right? So looking between 98 and 01, in them 3 seasons, Man United won it a hat-trick. They did it again between 06 and 09, and Chelsea did it between 04 and 06 twice. It was almost like these owners expect, let's go and do what Man United did and win it 300 times on a bounce, or do what Chelsea did, win it twice in a row. But look at it now, that you've always had different teams winning it. So you've had Man City, United, City, Chelsea, City, Chelsea, but you haven't had teams who kind of sandwich it together. So I'd say that it's a lot more competitive now, where you've got probably 6 teams who are really good compared to maybe 3 who are really good and 3 who are just below par. And I think like you were going on about Mike Ashley for a brief second. These owners, they need to A, know about football, or B, employ someone who does know about football to say, right, look at this, right, this is good, this, right, but we've got to look at this and say, right, that's not good. And you've kind of got to have someone who knows what they're doing to inform the owner. Because an owner is a businessman, and the businessman will say, right, we've spent 80 million, whatever, we need to make so much back, and that's how they view it. They don't view it from a football perspective, and I think that's a bad thing to do.
Yeah. So do you think it would be a success if Chelsea were to get top 4? Because obviously Conte signed the new deal in summer, but Abramovich, we know, likes to move people on. Do you think he'd stay or think he'd go after that?
Depends. I think that if they were to get top 4, I think that would be okay if they won an FA Cup or won the League Cup, and then next season they go on and push for the league again.
Yeah.
That type of thing, because I think you've got to have an off season to kind of step back and go, right, we're going for the season after, because I can guarantee you now, I don't think we're going to see for the next 10 years at least teams who win the league 2 or 3 times in a row. I think that it's going to be more, you win the Premier League one season, you go win the FA Cup the next, and then you go back to the Premier League almost like that. So you've still got silverware and money coming through, but you're not going to win the Premier League 3 times in a row like Man United did.
Okay, yeah. we'll see if Chelsea do have a successful season, and if that is the end of Conte, if this carries on, because top four, like you say, if they won a League Cup, that's probably not that bad a result if they have a little one in the Champions League as well, because they're under different circumstances to last year, but we know sometimes how football chairman work. So finally, speaking of Chelsea, someone closely affiliated with Chelsea was Jose Mourinho, who almost set the Premier League alight with his football earlier on in the season with Man United, scoring 4 goals here, 3 goals there, etc, etc, and then suddenly came to the Liverpool game and he shut up shop, didn't try and win the game. That Liverpool defence wasn't really tested, which looked okay, a point away to Liverpool, but then the next week Spurs battered Liverpool, put 4 past them, and Manchester United also lost to Huddersfield. So we've sort of gone to a bit of Mourinho reality, and on that it's divided fans. Some fans are saying, great, Mourinho's winning games, that's how he does it. Some fans saying, you Manchester United just spent all this money, why aren't you going at teams? One thing he's done is he's kicked out of fans for not supporting Lukaku. He said they should fans that is treat him as untouchable as he does. Nathan, it's not a great idea to start a war with the fans, is it?
I'd say definitely not. So you've got to try and just kind of you've got to be media trained to kind of say, like, to kind of like have a go at them, but not in that direct way. So to kind of say, well, look at us, we're scoring a lot of goals. Like, we scored 4 goals in the Premier League in one game 4 times. That's crazy. 4 against Crystal Palace, 4 against Everton, 4 against Swansea, 4 against West Ham.
Yeah.
Now, to me, style of football or not, 4 goals in a game, once in a season is good. Twice, 4 times, especially this early in the season.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, he shut up shop against Liverpool, but because Liverpool are a good attacking side, but it would have been frustrating, but it's one game. But yes, of course, we lost to Huddersfield, but that's going to happen. You're always going to have them kind of freak results. Blackpool about 7 years ago, they did the double over Liverpool. So them little results and stuff where you lose against a newly promoted side, that's going to happen, right? It's not like they've gone and lost to Huddersfield, Newcastle, Brighton and Bournemouth 4 in a row or something like that. So it's one game, so I won't get too annoyed by that. But I don't really know why they're complaining. But I'd take that.
Yeah.
I'd say the amount of goals they've scored with exciting players, might not be Man City style of play with all their money, but it's still pretty good. So I don't know why they're complaining. I think they need to. I'm not even going to say, like, oh, look at these lower league teams, look what they have to go through. Looking at a top 6 perspective, winning 4-0 is much more entertaining than winning 1-0. So I don't know why they're moaning. I think they just need to. I think they're still in the third years going, well, we're going to win the league loads of times. I think they need to grow up really and just look at the team. They've had a bad result, a bad run, but just look at the amount of goals they're scoring.
Maybe it's because they think that the amount of money they've spent and the players they've got their disposal, they think they should be doing what Man City are doing and blowing teams away, whereas you probably wouldn't see Guardiola shutting up shop for an 0-0 draw at Liverpool because we saw Man City put 5 past Liverpool. Is that fair, or do you think it's not?
Well, let's look, right. Man City, they've got an attractive style of football and a B, getting results, right? That's amazing. If you could do that, then you're good. But getting results is good. And although the style of play might not be amazing, you're still seeing a lot of goals, so it's still entertaining. Maybe not as entertaining as Man City, but it's still entertaining, right? And people calling for his head, right? If Man City win the league this season, what was it going on about before about teams who will kind of drop down? They won't win the league 2 in a row. Man City drop down next season, let's say. Man United take their place, still playing as good, still buying players, and next season Man United could go win the league. So, and just look at the results they've had in the Premier League, right? They've won all their games, apart from 3, 2 draws and 1 loss. scoring so many goals, I don't know why they're complaining. I genuinely don't know why they're complaining.
But what about the games where they're not scoring goals? So like when against Liverpool, when he did shut up shop, he didn't try and win the game. Fans are sort of saying that he probably should have gone for it because we've seen what some teams have done to Liverpool's defence this season. It's being branded as negative.
Yeah, but that would have also been Liverpool have got a very good attack. So if it have attacked, it could have easily gone 2-0 down or something, depending if they'd been unlucky. So yeah, it's great as when you hear your manager say, Sheridan did it a lot, saying we're going to go at them. That is really good, but I don't know really.
So you think it's like a game management thing? Like it's okay for him to because he's managing the game well.
Yeah, I think that that's a good point against Liverpool, isn't it?
Okay, fair enough. Billy, he's also. Have any of you ever been to Old Trafford, by the way?
No, I haven't. No.
I went once against Valencia, I think.
Yeah.
My brother took me. Yeah.
Do you want to comment? Do you have any comment on the atmosphere there? Because I've never been myself either. So do you have any comment experiencing it firsthand?
It was a friendly.
Mm-hmm.
It was all right. I don't think there was. I think there's probably about 40,000, 50,000 there. It was. It's a bit. It's like it was. That's the thing. I don't know. It was. I think because I'm used to going to Oldham and stuff, and because you've got a lot of fans almost, maybe only 4,000 there, but all of them cheer instead of 70,000 where maybe not a lot of them cheer.
Yeah.
But I think the atmosphere was alright, and I think Man United won 3-2 or 3-1, I think.
Okay.
But the atmosphere was alright.
Yeah.
I'd say.
So I suppose it being a friendly that does affect it a bit, but like you say, a lot of people in there. Billy, Mourinho sort of come out and spoke a little bit about the atmosphere, saying that there's a universal desire for the stadium to see atmosphere. Do you think that's sort of a shot at saying there isn't an atmosphere, or like the fact that what he expects maybe it's not up there because of how well they're doing at the minute and what the atmosphere is in relation to that? Or do you think he's just trying to get the supporters back on side, or do you think it's a dig?
Well, I kind of think it might be a dig because, like, it's not a very good thing, the fact that you're paying however much Man United is to go watch, paying that amount of money for then the manager to then be saying, "Oh, I want like more," almost from the crowd. I think it's just a bit disrespectful.
Yeah, because it's not a requirement, is it, that you have to go make noise at a football match? No. What are your general thoughts on Mourinho? Because obviously he left Chelsea the second time in a very, very controversial manner. Do you like him as a manager and a man, or one or the other?
As a manager, yes. As a manager, yes, but as a man, I'm not too sure. I think it's like Ronaldo. Some people like him, some people don't. Like Messi, some people like him, some people don't. But I don't like him as a man. I think he's a good manager. The fact that the first two games he got 2 4-0 wins, I think it was, and he gets the results, and then he comes out and says silly things like, "Oh, we need a better atmosphere," or whatever he said, basically implying that the atmosphere needs to be better. So, yeah, great manager, but not a very nice man, in my opinion.
Okay. We'll see how this situation plays out, because I feel like it's a bit of Man United of last year, where there was a bit of negative football because people thought they were going to really come in this season and blow teams away, and they did that at the start, but they seemed to fall a little bit. And obviously with the physio situation at Chelsea, etc., we know Mourinho doesn't like to hold back, so we'll see where that goes, and we'll see the situation, how that develops with Manchester United. So that does bring an end to today's podcast. Thank you very much, Nathan, for coming on. Do you want to just sort of shout out the League One podcast and your own Twitter, if you want to do that?
At League One podcast on Twitter. There's been a lot of stuff going on with the new graphics and stuff like that.
Great stats.
And And yeah, I mean, it's been good. I think like 50 followers in the last week and stuff. But yeah, be sure to go follow that because it's pretty good.
Decent. And Billy as well, thank you for coming on. Where can people find you?
Yeah, thanks for having me. I've got an Instagram, BillySuffin_. I post like every couple of days. Thank you for letting me come on.
That's right. Always welcome on. Billy into photography, so I'll post a link to that in the description as well. So hope you did enjoy. If you have any views on what any of us said today, remember to put it in the comments down below. Maybe get a discussion going, or feel free to tweet any of us. Drop WhiteLinesF on a follow as well, and of course the League One podcast. I hope you did enjoy. Please like, subscribe, and we'll see you next time. Goodbye.